So the next generation of collaboration. Well, also in the KUKA world, there is not so much new with the collaborative robots. In fact, we've had our LBR EVA since before 2015 and was actually one of the absolute first collaborative robots on the market. And we've been selling quite a few since then. But you hear the but coming, but the LBR EVA is a very advanced robot. Among other things, it's a 7-axis robot to make it really flexible. It has its own operating system, which we call Sunrise, which requires Java programming, which differs it from the rest of our robot language and the programming language you use there. It is actually a quite high-priced product since it's a top-of-the-range robot. So what we did is we needed actually something new. And as the robot-based automation is rapidly growing all over the world, we see a lot of new opportunities. But we also need to lower the threshold for many users to get into robotics. We need robots that are as intuitive to use as a smartphone to really give an overall better customer experience, has an accessible that is easy to use hardware, which is easy to understand, simplified business interaction, also how we act together with you as customers and the end customers, and increasing effectiveness both in the projects and in the commissioning phase to make it more accessible, more easy to actually create your robot applications. So what did we come up with? Well, I will, as I sometimes do, share you a video.
Industrial intelligence.
So I hope everyone could see that video. So LBR Easy, the completely new robotic arm from KUKA. As you see, it is a completely new design of a robot, and some of you may have already seen it. We've shown it quite a lot on fairs over the recent months. But it is, as I mentioned, our completely new generation of robotic arms. It is a cobot in many ways because it has 4 torque sensors on all joints, so it can detect collisions and measure torques and actually act. It has a hand button on for hand guiding. We can program it by doing hand guiding of it, which is the black-gray part above the gripper here, you can see, which is standard on all these robots. But not everything is new with it. So we use the same controller hardware as we do with our other small robots, the KR4s, the SCARA robots, the Agilus robots. So we have a reliable tested hardware here. So it's the KR C5 microcontroller which is used to control this robot. But the SmartPad is a new one. It's called the SmartPad Pro, which has a landscape orientation instead of a standing orientation as the old SmartPad has. And there are a lot of new features in that as well. And especially, even though it is a collaborative robot, we've really put an effort into making it a low-cost robot. And perhaps you see we are calling it an industrial collaborative robot, because the collaboration mode, the human robots collaboration mode with collision detection and so on, is actually just a feature of a robot as we see it. It's not a special robot designed for this. It is a feature of the robot. Since the robot has the hardware to detect collisions, but we can at the same time use it as a normal industrial robot running at a high speed. There is no difference between a collaborative robot and an industrial robot. And this makes it, provides you with all the features you expect from an industrial robot. For example, with this robot, you can expect the same lifetime out of the robot as you would a standard robots, which makes it really leading in the collaborative market. If we deep dive a little bit into it a bit more, we can see that controller, the C5 Micro, it is nothing new with that. As I said, it has 16 IOs on board with safe signals and the possibility to have scanner integration into it. The new SmartPad, and there is a complete human-robot collaboration function set for fenceless operation built into the robot from the beginning. It has a very easy and simple way of programming. We will dive into that a little bit shortly. It actually has a 3D scene as well. You can see what the robot is doing directly on the SmartPad and see the safety spheres, the safety tools, and so on. Collision detection, access range monitoring, safe diagnostics. All this is built in from the beginning. And when I say that this is an industrial robot, we can have a quick look at the specs of this robot. So the smallest one, which is available on the market from the 1st of October, is what we call the LBR EC3 R760. That means that it is a robot which has a 3 kilo rated payload with a reach of 760 millimeters. But as with all our small robots, you can mount it in any position you like, on the floor, on the wall, on the roof, or even at any angle you like. This smallest robot has a pretty low protection rating. It's only IP30, which makes it basically dust-proof, you could say. But have a look out here at the speed of this robot, the possible speed you can run it, which makes it actually quite a fast robot. It's almost as fast as our KR4 robot, which is among the fastest on the markets. That means that we can actually use this robot in either a collaborative mode, and as you know, in a collaborative mode, we can't really move that fast because of the collision energy. But I can also turn off the collaborative mode and run the robot in a high-speed production environment. And as you probably saw in the video, this EC series of robots consists right now of 3 robots, actually. And the 2 larger robots will be available a little bit later this year, around the end of the year on the market. But it is an 11 kilo robot with a reach of 1300 millimeters and a 15 kilo robot with a reach of 930 millimeters. And these two larger robots, they actually have also a higher IP protection class, IP54, which makes them really suitable in a non-clean industrial environment. And the same with their smaller brother, they can be mounted in any position you like. And these are quite fast in their movements. But as with the smaller one, they have force torque sensors. They can detect a collision with an object or human and stop and retract. So they can also activate their collaborative mode. So in industrial collaborative robot, which can be used both as an industrial robot or as a collaborative robot, and you can actually switch modes depending on needs. So our idea is actually with this is to create a robot which has a low cost accessible hardware, which you've seen. We also have put great effort into developing a new operating system for these robots with a new user interface. You see a screenshot in the middle of the screen right now to increase the usability, to increase the user friendliness and ease of use. So to make it simple to create simple robot programs. And in this operating system, there's also what we call an ecosystem, an open platform, an API set, where you, as customers or suppliers, can develop your own functionality which gets built into the operating system. Plugins, if you like, for special functions, for special grippers, whatever you can come to think of. So an open development platform. But the real focus point of this robot and the IQ series and the new operating system is ease of use. And for example, you see this in this picture more clearly for hand guiding, for example. And this hand guiding is really intuitive to use. It's really smooth. I recommend you, if you get the chance, to test it when you see the robot at a fair, at a customer, at KUKA, whatever. Test it and you will be impressed, because that is what gives you the real. It's really smooth to use. And actually, we've tested this robot at a number of trial customers, and we have seen that within 30 minutes, they've actually unboxed the robot and mounted it, and in total 90 minutes, and they're already done their first simple programs running the robots. So it is a very low threshold to get things up and running with this box. But again, it is a human robot collaborative function, but it has industrial components, which makes it as reliable, as life age, as the same that you would expect from an industrial robot. And of course, we can support and service this robot all over the world. And the last row, you should ask us about a really competitive price for a collaborative robot. I've mentioned the new SmartPad because there is a new operating system, which I also mentioned, and we will probably do a separate webinar on all the features of that a little bit later on. But it requires the new SmartPad, which gives you, as you see in the left picture, a 3D view of the robot and what it's doing directly in your hands. But it also gives you a really intuitive programming mode where you can create your program steps with the help of simple wizards. And we actually, when we show this robot on fairs, we actually encourage customers to try to write their own small programs at the fair, and they find it really, really easy to do this. And we call the new operating system iKUKA OS, and you will hear more about it at a later webinar separately. But basically, it has 6 wizard-based pages to switch from. First, there's a basic setup screen where a wizard guides you through the complete process with mastering and so on. There is a programming wizard screen, which allows you to browse through the commands and where the wizard helps create your program steps. A 3D Smart View, where you can simulate and run the program and see what the robot is doing. Even though it is a collaborative robot, we somehow needs to take care of safety configuration, safe zones where the robot may go and may not go. And this is done through wizards and graphically displayed smart configuration pages directly in the SmartPad. And the same goes for tool and bases, wizards that guides us clearly through the process. And of course, we also need to take care of IOs. If we will have some sensors or some push buttons connected to the robot, we need to tell the system how to behave on these inputs and outputs. All this is wizard guided. So we divide this in a few steps. We have a smart startup wizard, which tells us how to install and connect the robot. A smart configuration wizard, which runs up the basic setup of the robot. A guide which helps us to do programming. So there's actually no prior programming experience required. It is an action of minutes before you have the robot up and running, and you can actually hand guide the robot to the positions you want it to move. But it still allows you for quite complex programs with loops, conditions, trees, and so on. And of course, there's an integrated help system directly on the SmartPad, which also, and not only a help system, but it also links you if you're connected to an online forum where users and KUKA can help you. And finally, but not least, there will be a smart extension, an open platform, which allows you as customers to build your own solutions into IQOS. With its own developer community connected to it. So the idea is today, with our KSS, all KSS robots will over the coming years grow into the IQOS platform. That means that KSS and IQOS will meld together. It will be possible to use all the KSS programs and functionality that you're using already today in the IQOS as well. But it will take a couple of years to integrate them all. And during the time, both operating systems will be sold in parallel. Now, the biggest benefit is for the non-experts, which takes it from getting the program up and running from days to a few hours of time. But also for our expert and really experienced customers, there's a real big benefit here, because the same application goes from hours to minutes. And then we had this openness of platform where you can create your own specially designed functionality. We are already nearing the end of the webinar. I will show you one more small movie.
Orange Intelligenz.
So, actually, I mentioned before I leave and start our questions, I mentioned before that we have, during the summer, had a lot of customers try it out, actually, and we've got already quite a ton of positive feedback. We aimed at letting an inexperienced customer get this thing up and running within half an hour, and according to the customer statements we get, that is exactly what we've actually been succeeded in doing. One customer says that from unboxing to actually commissioning a simple pick and place program without any prior training in less than 1.5 hours. The hand guiding is something exceptional, which they really haven't experienced before. So again, I urge you to take the chance of having a try testing this robot, because it is simply easy, really easy to use.
Industrial intelligence.